Booyah! What's up, YouTubers? This is your guy Evaluator, and what I'm going to be doing once more is debunking another video made by and posted your favorite villain. Now, through the entire 11 minutes, I sat down and heard everything he was saying about Mark Grayson and All Might. So, he kind of gave All Might the leverage, including the strength feat, durability. Well, I'm not even going to include his prime. I'm just talking about recently after he was injured. And he kind of said All Might wins on another end of the table, while on his side of Mark Grayson, on his side of the table, he beats All Might. So he also considered a lot about, this guy, Mark Grayson, going all out, and even kind of definitely using his rage to kind of outblitz All Might. Now, I have been doing some research on Mark Grayson. In fact, it says that he helped crack an entire planet. It didn't say that he himself cracked the entire planet. He helped crack an entire planet. And it also says that he also participated in helping, fight other villains and other people from different dimensions. Now, this is going to be real short, and I'm going to stick with the source, right? Nomu is was created by All For One, and Shigaraki used this creature by stealing other people's quirks and their abilities and creating this creature to fight All Might at his full power. And this is after All Might was injured by One For All, But anyways, this creature came at the school, and he was equally matched to All Might's power, all of his speed, durability, everything. And your favorite villain said something about having fate, and I'm just gonna go ahead and swipe that out. It's not because of his fate. It's because of the faith All Might has in himself and the people, as he says all the time, especially when he hit Nomu before he knocked him into outer space. He told him, "Now I'm going to teach you something and tell you what it really means." And he literally said, dang, I'm trying to think in the process of actually saying it, dang. Fighting for truth and justice. Yeah, so he says a real hero will fight for justice, right? And he says, go beyond plus ultra. So yeah, he tells, before he knocks the monster into outer space, he says, go beyond plus ultra. That clearly also means it's a big symbolism for hope. Like, whenever you're stuck in the middle and you're in the middle of the situation, you can't get out, give it your all, pass your limits, break your limitations, as he was pushing Todoroki, Bakugo, Deku, and pretty much everybody in Class 1A to go beyond their limits. Even when he first encountered Azawa, Mr. Azawa, Eraserhead, to literally even go beyond his limits. So, in this whole case, go beyond plus ultra means give it your all, okay? Even when you're stuck at the very last minute, right? And the last minute of the round. But unlikely, on Mark Grayson's end, he has a feat that says that he picked up and lift 400 tons. That's a lot of weight. Now, according to the source material, it said nothing about All Might picking up that amount of weight. It said nothing about it, okay? And it even also concluded that All Might did not, he could take out a whole city block. Well, no, that's not his full extent of his power, Okay, that wasn't his fullest extent. What he did was that he just threw a simple punch towards what's his name? He threw a simple punch in training in the training program with Deku and Bakugo, and it took out half the city block. Okay, and even when he was fighting off One for All, they kind of damaged the whole city, like put a gigantic crater. Well, it wasn't deep, but put a giant crater in the entire city. And not only that, All Might was also even losing his power, but as it was shown in the shows, that he was using every spark of his power and utilizing it as it was simply draining away. So All Might was at a limitation of his power, and he still was pushing forth. Literally, this guy was still pushing forth. And the problem with this is that Mark Grayson is incredibly powerful with his superhuman feats and his ability. It also says that he was able to fly from America all the way to Antarctica in less than 39 seconds. Now, the thing about that is All Might does not fly, okay? But I'm going to go ahead and say it. All Might beats Mark Grayson in every standard, in every form, in every step of the way. Why? You may wonder, Mr. Evaluator, why would you make that claim and statement? Well, let's look at One for All. So basically, like with Nomu, who was literally made to match freaking All Might's power, and him being at his full power when he was injured, he literally beat the shock absorption out of him. And like I said in the last video, he actually he has the capability to rupture people's healing factor because of his punches. Like, wow. So if Mark Grayson, like he does, have a healing factor, All Might can literally go beyond his limits, puncture his enhanced healing factor and literally rupture it. And I'm just gonna even conclude that, I know in the last video I said that Nomu has a regular healing factor. Not necessarily. I may as well say that he has an enhanced healing factor. And because of that, because when Todoroki put a big old block of ice off of his arm and broke his arm, he was able to regenerate that arm in a split second. So that was instantaneously fast, really fast. And on top of that, this guy has absorbing, he's shock absorption to his punches. So no matter how many punches All Might was literally giving him at his full power, Nomu was taking every bit of those punches, okay, and absorbing them while he was healing from them in the main process. A lot of people don't look into that because, well, they don't understand One for All, and they don't understand any of the characters or any of their capabilities. I mean, it's just unbelievable. But anyways, get back to the main point. Mark Grayson can go all out, right? He can go all out. He can surpass All Might in his strength feat, right? But it doesn't mean he will beat All Might, because the problem is, this is how One for All is utilized, right? Whatever tier or opponent All Might is literally fighting that person on, right? He can literally, with his faith, amplify that amount of power from One for All, because clearly One for All is infinite. Yeah, the power that is in him is infinite. It's just that his body is stuck to limitation, pretty much like the shotgun scenario, right? The barrel is only strong enough to shoot out, let's say, 100 bullets at one time, right? So if it's going to shoot 1,000 bullets out at one time, then that barrel has to be strong enough, and it has to be powerful enough to take on, to literally hold 1,000 bullets coming out at one time. You guys gotta also keep in mind when All Might is fighting, every bit of his punches is his full power. Okay, it's literally his full power. So that means like everything is coming out at one time. There is no way in the world Mark Grayson would handle this. There's no way in the world Captain America will handle this. There will even possibly be no way in the world Incredible Hulk would handle this, or Thanos will handle this. Okay? Because all of this power is literally coming out at one time. But here's the low ball. The low ball is that All Might is on a city level tier. This guy is literally on a city level tier. So the thing is, if that All Might was on a planetary tier, like, dude, this guy, every bit of his punches would be planetary, dude, and it will all come out at one time. And like I told you, he has the ability to rupture and damage your healing factor and your shock absorption. This is the reason why that the writers who actually wrote who wrote My Hero Academia did not intend for, their main icon to have a healing factor, because this One for All was going to be so impressive in its power, in its strength feat. There's going to be no need for no healing factor, because the problem is, like, he would literally be too invincible. Like, if he could literally, if All Might possesses One for All, right, and he has a healing factor, then basically he could take his healing factor to the next level. He could heal on a planetary basis, he could heal on a galaxy basis, even on a solar system basis, even on a universal basis. And what that clearly means is that besides speed, his skin will be a lot tougher. He'd be a lot stronger, and it'll be a lot harder to defeat him. Right? A lot harder to defeat him. So I'm just going to go ahead and go into those factors in my next video. I'm going to scale the different levels of omnipotence concerning this in the Mortal Kombat universe, and the different levels of healing factors according to the My Hero Academia. Right? Okay, so really, everybody on there in My Hero Academia is beneath, planetary, is way beneath city level destruction, right? So their healing factor basically puts them on a level to do so much damage, right? So I'm just gonna go ahead and explain that out of the way. But all in all, there's no literal way in any sense that Mark Grayson would ever have the edge of beating All Might, because all of his power is coming out at one time. While Mark Grayson, on the other hand, is like using his power inches at a time. Like, prime example, let's just say Mark Tamayo, like I said, picks up 400 tons, right? So that means his strength feat will probably be, let's just say that his strength feat will be planetary. So when he punches All Might, all of that is going to come piece by piece at a time, right? So even though he's planetary, it doesn't mean he's gonna hit All Might on a planetary scale unless he have to. So even if he does hit him on a planetary scale, that means all of that power he literally utilized, it won't leave him drained. But the thing about it, Mark Grayson will only fight that individual based on the scale of power that they have, pretty much like All Might. But the problem is, Mark Grayson could basically utilize whatever amount of power he want to use on his scale. But versus All Might power is literally coming out at one time. all of it is shooting towards him at one time, and that's just too much for him to handle. Like, literally too much for him to handle. So just imagine, like, when All Might was fighting Nomu, that mean every single blow Nomu was throwing at All Might, all of his power, his strength was coming at him at one time, which is why Deku said that every single one of his punches he was throwing at Nomu was more than 100% of his power, and all of his punches was literally targeted. He wasn't just randomly throwing punches like you would have Mark Grayson do when he's fighting an opponent. All My punches was literally targeted, and he would literally, like, target his punches, every bit of his punches, and every single one of his punches was more than 100%. So all of his power at supersonic speed was coming out at one time, which basically explains the giant shockwave, that the wind that spread it throughout the entire school, the auditorium, that gym or whatever it was they were in, because it was coming out at one time. Which is why, what's this guy? The Mist dude, I think his name started with a K, couldn't come nowhere close to them. He couldn't step near them because the shockwave, like their forces, was coming out at one time. And this right here is too much for Mark Grayson to handle. Like, literally. There's no way in the world Mark Grayson will compete at this level of power, even if he goes all out. So, I would just probably say that Mark Tamayo will probably be half the strength of, what his dad is, if he's able to hold his dad's strength against him. Well, I'll just say that just for a highball, he's stronger than his dad. Like, because in a sense, like, Mark Grayson does not release all his power out at one time. I know he doesn't. Because if he does that, then, like, in this sake, he should be the strongest one, the one and only strongest and heaviest fighter in that scenario. But as far as I'm concerned, according to the source material, he isn't. They put him as one of the strongest heroes, but he isn't, but they didn't give the credit to him. But however, if he is, because I didn't find it, comment the comic panel below, send me a link so I could use that for future references. But anyways, yeah, All Might's power is coming all out at one time. There's no way Thanos, Captain America, Gamora, anybody, even Thor or Hercules, could not handle this amount of power coming out at them at one time, especially if they're fighting at supersonic speed. This is unbelievable, right? Thor has not ever, throughout the whole MCU comics, or even Thanos, or even Captain America, at least the ground tiers, demigods and god levels, and Hercules have not fought somebody that is like All Might, okay? So yeah, Mark Grayson is done. There's no way possible in any way this guy will beat All Might. So, have any questions or concerns, please comment below. If you think that Mark Grayson could beat All Might, and you don't agree with this, please explain why, so that I could see that reasoning and make a recap on this video, like I did with Batman and Gamora. So, that's all it for today until I upload more content. Stay tuned. Evaluator out.